we have a near-term problem. Our planet is heating. There are events coming up globally, climate-related, that are inescapable, I believe, at this point, and we're adding fuel to the fire by not addressing near-term methane emissions reductions. Coal mine methane emissions reductions in general as a sector is often overlooked. It's been overlooked by governments. It's been overlooked by regulators, policymakers. If you sort of drill down even under coal mine methane emissions in general, from active underground mines, from surface mines, from abandoned mines, from post-mining operations, ventilation air methane emissions have been largely ignored. But there have also been full-scale commercially available projects that have been in existence for years. So to say that it's not possible, that's just not a valid argument anymore. In the near term, I believe we need to take those RTOs and scale them up and scale them outward. Now what we're lacking are the policies to actually drive the full-scale deployment of RTO technologies forward. The technologies exist, they're proven. I think some of the problems we're hearing is that these technologies can't abate low concentration methane, and we've proven that they can. It's just there hasn't been an industry need or requirement for these technologies to go down to such low methane concentrations in the past, that industry now is currently using that as an excuse for how it can't be done. Here in the US, we do not have any type of regulation that requires any type of mitigation from coal mining activities. We now have legislation focusing on the oil and gas industry, which is wonderful, but there is a huge gap here in the United States. The EU methane regulation, however, provides us all with a lot of hope in the fact that there are, tiered levels of regulations in terms of climate targets that have to be met for active underground mines, surface mines, abandoned mines. There's a lot of hope in the EU, I think, for all of us and for other global economies looking at what type of regulations make sense for coal. I think the fact that the EU regulation is going to require continuous emissions monitoring systems in mines across the EU will provide us with a lot more detailed information in terms of what type and what scale of emissions we are looking at, both from active mines as well as from even abandoned mines that have not been properly closed over the past several decades. Australia is also, through their safeguard mechanism, providing a very unique opportunity in terms of the cap and trade model of potential policy options out there, where they're probably going to have a lot of near-term impact on active underground mines and probably a few years out into the future, targeting more of the surface mine methane emissions. But they're also working on robust MRV practices based upon the US EPA's greenhouse gas reporting program inventory of underground coal mine methane emissions over the past 15 years. So there are models out there, but we really need more countries to act. We've got a few basic models out there, and that's wonderful, but it's not enough. It's not enough.